I'm currently Director of Community Services. I oversee all of our supported living services across 6 counties. I supervise 3 network directors who then supervise 16 team managers who then supervise 24 team leads who then supervise 300 DSPs. One day doesn't look like the next. One day I might be jumping from executive team meetings to payroll to talking to HR to going to, we call the people we support our customers because we work for them. I might be going to a customer's team meeting. The next day, like last Monday, I might be moving some people who needed to move to a new house. So the intent, the focus of my job is really around developing and supporting our supervisors, our middle management, and developing and enforcing policies. But the reality of my job is a lot of crisis management and putting out fires. What keeps DSPs in their role as DSP? I think it's going to vary for some people. The people I've worked with who've been long-term DSPs, for them, it's seeing somebody gain skills and being a part of moving somebody towards independence. It's being appreciated. It's which is sometimes easier said than done. But being valued and appreciated not just by the individuals you support, but by your supervisor, by the provider you work for. And more, it's being paid what they deserve to be paid, which we're nowhere near. And that's our biggest battle right now. I mean, we're facing the largest DSP crisis of my career. I've said, for years that it's an ebb and a flow. You'll have staff and you'll be doing pretty well, and then the bottom drops off and you're in tough shape, and then you climb that hill and you get to a pretty decent spot. The last year, the agency I've worked with, that we've never gone back up that hill. And I said for the first time Monday that for the first time, I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that means we have to make some significant changes. I'm almost feeling as though it's to the point where you kind of just have to dump out the box and start over putting the pieces back in, because the tape we put on the edges of the boxes to hold it together isn't cutting it anymore. It's just a new field out there. People's needs are greater, families are expecting more, and that's a good thing. But at the same time, unemployment where we live is down to 4%, and we can't compete with Walmart starting people at 10 an hour, or the local hospital who just bumped their entry for patient transporters to 11. I mean, you can go push somebody in a wheelchair for $11 an hour, or you can come work at Life Designs for $9. So it's an extremely challenging time. But I think what does keep those DSPs that do hang in there is seeing and celebrating the progress of the people they support, along with being appreciated. And it's not even huge appreciations, but just knowing that the agency and their supervisors appreciate what they do on a day-to-day basis. It's hard to stay a DSP because if you want to make more money, the obvious step is to move up the ladder and take a manager role or a Q role or a director role. The farther you climb up that ladder, the further away you get from the people you support. And some people aren't made to be supervisors or directors, and they don't want that kind of responsibility. So it's really important, it's kind of going off on a different tangent, but it's really important that we try to work to develop the DSP position as a career ladder, so that, you know, maybe if you start as a DSP with no experience, you're a DSP 1, and you're there for a year or two, and you gain certain skills, and you can move on to DSP 2, and maybe you work with some people with some more challenging medical issues and become a medical DSP. But a way that we can really focus in on people's strengths as DSPs, rather than just automatically lose them, not lose them, but have them move on to manager roles. Because I've seen the best DSPs not make the best managers. And in a lot of cases, I've seen those people then step back down to DSP because that's what they got in this for. There's days about, 6 weeks ago, I was actually covering some overnight shifts and some evening shifts with some customers, and I thought, I miss this. I miss being able to have that direct involvement with people's lives. So I understand, you know, why people at times step back down into the direct support role.